you did a documentary, fantastic piece of work. I really heavily advise everyone watching this to go watch this documentary. The Greatest Lie Ever Sold. Covering the George Floyd incident, Black Lives Matter, etc. Can you tell us a little bit about that documentary? I know that documentary, you probably got a bunch of hate for doing it, but I think it was powerful and needed to be done because it's a topic that people are scared to talk about, people are scared to discuss, but people know privately this is what really went down. Can you tell us about that documentary a little bit?
Yeah, and I mean, you could say this, it goes back to what we were talking about with people using smears to prevent you from talking about anything, any subject that they don't want you to touch, any powerful institution they don't want you to get close to. And, you know, Black Lives Matter as an organization, it was just so obviously fraudulent. It was so obviously racist. It was so obviously going to lead to Black Americans setting themselves back, looting and rioting their own communities. And I kept saying it, and I was just being called a coon, and like, this is the thing we're doing. We're finally getting power. Okay, you're finally getting power by taking a flat screen TV because they're going to allow you to do this for a couple of months, and then what? The businesses are all they're playing chess, right? The businesses are all going to leave the Black neighborhoods because why would they stay, right? They're making no money. You're allowing people to steal. We've already done this in the '60s, by the way. They called it the white flight. Everyone's leaving because you keep rioting and looting, and so I just saw it happening in slow motion and knew that a lot of times what happens with emotion is you're all in and then you're finally ready after some time to look back on things with clarity. And it was something that I received a lot of heat from, not obviously bowing down to the George Floyd narrative and also knowing how much they lied about it. I mean, they didn't even show the full arrest tape. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This is a great example of how biased the media is. Who was the guy? Brad Parscale worked for Trump. And he got arrested. When I tell you they had his arrest tape, full arrest tape on the internet within like hours, it was amazing.
Yeah.
With George Floyd, it was just that one angle of the girl's phone, and that was all you were allowed to see. You couldn't see that. They tried to get him in that car peacefully. I mean, from the jump, he acting weird, not answering. They're asking him questions. Are you okay? Like, why are you acting weird? They put him in the car. It could have been a totally peaceful arrest. He asks to get out. Says, I want to get out, blah, blah, blah. He asks to be put on the ground. I mean, it's just wild. It is wild. They put him on the ground. They wouldn't let him breathe. He had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse.
Yeah.
Okay? That is a fact. There's just no way to look at that. You can be upset about that fact all you want, but at the end of the day, this is a man, and his story should have been a conversation about what led to his addictions, right? Maybe we would have looked back on Big Pharma. Who knows? Maybe it started with him taking pills for pain, and it ended up the story of a man who then became heavily addicted to fentanyl, whatever it is, right? And talking about addiction is always going to be a compassionate story, I think. And that's why I had to actually check myself after doing the documentary. I actually am glad I sat down with his roommates because I felt bad for him in that way because he didn't ask to be turned into a martyr. Yeah. He never said, I'm a good man living my life well and let my death mean something.
100%.
Right? The media did that. So he was a man who suffered from addiction. He died in his addiction. His whole life is a story of addiction. He was not a good person. He committed crimes probably just to get money. Career criminal.
All over Texas, Minnesota.
Yeah. You know, traumatizing Black and Hispanic people that you claim to care about. These were his victims.
Put a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach.
He literally put a gun.
Passed a counterfeit bill before he was apprehended by the police in the first place. Like, no one ever talked about all the things that led up to what happened.
Right. They're just pretending like, and then not showing the other angle, which you can see Derek Chauvin actually from the front. It looks like he's on his neck, but actually, and police are taught that to put their knee there once he was on the ground. And so, yeah, you could say that, oh, well, once he said I can't breathe, why didn't you move your knee? He was saying I can't breathe from the second they pulled him over, when you see the full thing. And they were just like, dude, what? I can't, I'm claustrophobic. I can't be in the car. I can't breathe, you know? And so it wasn't like, they just thought he was BSing, likely is what happened, that he was just BSing.
Not only that, but if you're able to scream, that means you're able to breathe.
Right. And so here's the thing. Yeah, quite literally, when you take fentanyl, do you know what it does? Yeah. It stops you from breathing.
Yeah.
The media saw...
The drugs he took worked, you know, and it's a tough conversation to have. I get it, but I will not accept turning somebody into a martyr who led a life of criminality, and then also at the same, I mean, you had little Black girls, little Black boys wearing his face, a criminal. They were baptizing people in the square.
What?
Yes, they were. You don't remember how crazy it was. They literally tried to make his name synonymous with Jesus Christ. When you go to that square when that went down, there's like a billboard, and they've basically put angel wings on him. I mean, it's nuts what they did to a career criminal, but that's what they want. They want Black Americans to believe and to defend the people in our community that are doing the worst. That's why it's a racist system in that regard, right? When you are saying to Black Americans, aspire to be filth, right? Aspire to be the next sexy red, the next this person, and simultaneously saying, these are your new idols. These are your new Jesus Christ. This is the new Jesus Christ. It sickened me, and it still makes me so angry to look back on it and the people that fed Black Americans that garbage.
I've always said, people, they give me the same term, oh, you're a coon, blah, blah, they say the same thing to me, because I've always said,